So applying the definition of the material derivative to ds cap over dt, this would be the partial derivative of s cap over time plus the derivative of s cap with distance times ds over dt. Okay, remember your spatial coordinates are now s and n, and they are not xyz as before. They are not xyz. So s cap here is a function of s and n. That is, if you choose a streamline, you need to choose an origin and you measure distances along this origin. So if you are at this point here, your local direction of s cap and n cap, okay, they are a function of where this point is, which is at what curvilinear distance from the origin is this point. Okay, so I'll write s cap as a function of s and n, and then I have plus ds cap over dn times dn over dt. Okay. Now, what is ds over dt? What is the rate of change of distance along the streamline chord? What is the rate of change of distance along the streamline chord? That is, if I am a bug, if I am a little insect that is moving along a thread, the rate at which I traverse this distance would be my speed. So ds over dt would be the speed with which this fluid is traveling at a particular point P. So I can simply write this to be equal to P. Okay, and then by definition, the fluid's velocity is all directed along the streamwise. By definition, it is not moving along the normal direction. That is, if I am moving this way, I cannot be moving in the perpendicular direction. So my motion, or the rate of change of my normal position or perpendicular position, or position in the perpendicular direction, is 0. So this term here is 0. So what I have here is ds cap over dt plus ds cap over ds times b plus third term is 0. Okay, so I need to write what is ds cap over ds, or partial s cap over partial s. Okay, so I need to think of what is partial s cap over partial s. So if I take 2 points here, let's say I take this point P where the vector is s cap, and then I take a different point or an adjacent point P dash where this is s cap. This is s plus delta s. The distance between P and P dash is approximately delta s. So what I have is, I have s, and then I have delta s, which leads to s plus delta s. By traversing a distance of delta s between P and P dash, I get to s plus delta s, which I can write from calculus to be the limit of delta s goes to 0, s of s plus delta s minus s cap of s divided by delta s. So I need to evaluate this derivative, and this derivative, which I am giving you the result without the intermediate steps, as n cap over r, and this would be equation 4.7 in the book. Equation 4.7 in the book. What you have here is the rate of change of S cap with S is n over r. Okay. Now this statement here I have equal to plus ds cap over dt plus n cap over r time v. Okay. N cap over r times v. I'm sorry, it's not just n cap over r, it's v n cap over r. So that would be n cap v over r times v. That is, I'm substituting for this. Okay. So I have my ds over dt to be equal to the rate of change with respect to time plus v squared over r times n cap. Now what is this r? R is the local radius of curvature at that point. R is the local radius of curvature at that point. Like for example, if we are considering point P here, you determine the radius of curvature by taking this tangent and then trying to draw a sphere or a circle that is tangential to this streamwise direction. So the center of that circle would be the center of curvature, and the radius of that circle would be the radius of curvature. It is the local radius of curvature to that point at which you are trying to calculate the acceleration. It's the local radius of curvature. The other term here, so instead of v ds dt, I can simply write, wait, hold on. I think I had this right, sorry. Okay. So v over n. And then if I write this dv dt times s cap plus v times ds dt plus the second term, which is v over r times n cap. So I can write this acceleration is the streamwise component plus the normal component is equal to dv over dt times s cap plus v times ds over dt plus v times r n cap. Okay. Now think about dv over dt. dv over dt will be the partial derivative with respect to time plus dv over ds times ds over dt plus dv over dn times dn over dt. Like we argued before, this is 0. This would be magnitude of the velocity. So this is going to be dv over dt plus v dv over ds. So I'm going to put this back in here. Okay, I'm going to put this back in here and to create some space. Okay. So what do I have? I have the acceleration to be equal to as s cap plus an n cap equals first term dv dt plus v dv ds times s cap plus v ds dt plus v squared r n cap. So this would be my streamwise component of the acceleration, and this would be my normal component of the acceleration. This would be the normal component of the acceleration, and depending on how ds over dt turns out, this may have components for both as and an, but generally for steady flow we assume that the time dependence is 0, which gives us, for steady flow we get as to be equal to v dv ds, or partial derivative of v squared over 2, and the normal component is v squared over n, v squared over r, sorry, the radius of curvature. So this expression for the streamwise and the normal component of the acceleration, which is given by equation 4.7 from the book. Equation 4.7 from the book is what we will use when we try to derive equations of motion that connect pressure, velocity and height, which is the Bernoulli equation. So this is a derivation that will come in handy later, but even otherwise this is telling you, if you have a flow that is having a curved streamline, it tells you the variation of the acceleration along the streamline and perpendicular to the streamline. Now simple idea. If your streamline is perfectly flat, you take any point here. If you draw a circle that is tangential to the point, that circle will have a radius that is practically infinite. Or in other words, if you have a flow along a straight line, the normal component of the acceleration is 0, and all of your acceleration is pretty much due to the streamwise component. It's a very simple example. Flow along a straight line is a case where all the velocity is directed along the streamwise direction, as is all the acceleration. The velocity and the acceleration in the perpendicular direction are obviously 0. That's one example. Flow along a straight line. Okay. If we think of this, then the other extreme, where if you have a liquid that is being spun around, okay, if you have a liquid that's being spun around, whose velocity is perfectly tangential to the center of motion, okay, it's perfectly tangential, that is, the velocity equals v times e theta cap. There is no radial velocity, okay, and this radius is r. And if it's uniform circular motion, okay, your velocity is not changing in the radial direction. That is, this radial direction is your normal direction and this tangential direction is your streamwise direction. So you have dV over ds to be equal to 0, which implies the streamwise component is 0, but since you have a speed of v divided by the radius, that would be your normal component. So uniform circular motion means purely tangential motion, all your acceleration is along the normal. Motion along a straight line or flow along a straight line means all your acceleration and velocity is along the streamline direction. We will see more examples of this as time goes on.